We do the whole thing in a British accent.
Welcome to the Villa, babes. Welcome to episode number 4, where we talk about Love Island and all the shit that's gone down.
Technically, it's episode number 2.
It's episode number 2, minus the pilot. Sorry,
minus
fuck.
the pilot. Fuck.
The pilot.
Any British listeners, they're literally gonna like blacklist this. Okay, continue.
I mean, I think my accent's actually pretty decent.
Yours is way better than mine for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I am sorry about the audio quality right now. I did not feel like taking my mic out, just to give a little exclaimer here. We will be talking about Love Island and everything reality TV and influencers shortly, but first, Mafum and I am going to include a clip of us talking about what we learned this week, because Mafum really needs for the what we learned this week to be at the beginning of the podcast. So that is what you will be seeing next. Thank you. You will notice that it is nighttime right now. We forgot to do our what we learned in the week at the beginning of the episode when it was still daytime outside, and now it is fully night.
That's true.
So inserting that now. Would you like to
inserting
take it
that
away?
now because Mafum's crazy and she wants it to be at the beginning. Gabby's normal and doesn't care what it is, but Mafum needs it to be at the beginning. What I learned this week, I mean, I guess we recorded 2 in one day, so I have to think about something else, but I did learn, actually, I feel like this is why I like this segment, because you learn a lot of little random things, even if you already know it, you know what I mean? You, like, think about it that week. They're, like, little things. I mean, you know what? I'll just say the little things, because that's all it is, right? Like, I'm like, that's not a good enough lesson, but, like, it's all fucking, everything is a little thing. My thing was, I am trying to, so I cleaned out my whole wardrobe while I had COVID and I was, like, quarantining. So now it's a lot easier for me to, like, remember what I have, get dressed, like, all of that. But I still think sometimes, like, when I'm getting dressed, I try to, like, for some reason resist what I like, because I'm like, oh, that's not, like, cool enough. You know what I mean? I'll be like, I need to, like, think more outside the box. Like, I need to be, like, really intentional with, like, this, and this other thing. And, like, yes, in general, like, I do like having, like, thinking about style, like, as in trying to push myself to think about it in different ways and not constantly just falling back on, like, what I know because I know it. Like, I do like the idea of, like, obviously growing and changing as a person, and one of those aspects is style. Yeah. And I do have, like, an ideal vision that I try to get closer and closer to, that I think I'm, like, over the years I've gotten closer and closer to. But sometimes, like, I was dressing for this date I had on Friday, and I was like, I just wanted to wear this, like, that, you know, that Zara tank that I wear, like, all the time, because it's, like, the whatever. It's, like, this, like, Zara crop top with, like, these jeans and my Vans. And I remember I put that on, and I was like, I love this. I feel good in it. I feel comfortable. This is all I want to wear. But then being like, no, I need to, like, think more creatively, or I need to try something, like, different. And, like, why? Yeah. Like, yes, in general, it's nice to move towards, like, something that challenges you a little bit, or, like, not falling into the same patterns, like, trying things that are new. That's always fun. Yeah. But then also, to a certain extent, like, why do you have to be fucking cool all the time? Like, I know. Coolness is, yeah. Also, if coolness is dictated only by what you wear, like, that doesn't mean shit. Like, yes, some people have, like, really impressive cool style, but that's because of who they are, and it, like, manifests itself through how they dress, typically. But I'm not interested in, like, whatever. I'll be boring. I'll wear my little uniform. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So that was my lesson, to just be like, whatever the fuck you want. And, like, you're still working towards, like, a final end vision that's constantly changing. But, like, dude, who cares? That was my thing.
No, that's good. Yeah. I thought of one while you were talking.
Rambling,
I learned this week that audiobooks really help me get back into reading.
Yes.
Like, huge stuff. Oh, fuck yeah. Those are so good. Like, I love reading, and I went through, like, a very, like, long, like, I want to say 2016 to 2018, I read so much. Like, so much. I was also a booktuber, so, I mean, like.
Oh, yeah.
But then
Your OG YouTube career. Wow.
Privated all of this.
Your sophomore YouTube career. Imagine showing this to 2018. I feel like, wow.
Yeah, and, like, I've just like, I've read, and I still read, and I love to read, but I struggle to consistently read now, and, like, I struggle to, like, get through books in like I used to be able to read multiple books a week, and now I've like can barely read one book a month, you know.
Join our club.
Yeah.
Although my club is particularly bad, yours is still
Yeah.
But
I like threw on an audiobook last week, and I was like, oh, this is great. And like I got through it so fast. Like I would like drive to see Fran, my girlfriend, and that would like take like 45 minutes, and I would get through like a good chunk of the book, and I can listen to it at like 2 times speed. Beautiful for my ADHD brain.
Seriously.
And actually, like you get through the book so much faster, and it just sounds, it's like a podcast, but like a story. And then I put on another audiobook, and I was like, this is great. And now I'm reading a physical book, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm reading again. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
I've gotten through maybe 7 audiobooks. I was trying to count while you were talking. I maybe got through 7 in the last year.
Yeah.
But like 1 written novel in the last year.
Yeah.
Like
audiobooks are just so good.
Yeah.
Love them.
They're really helpful.
Yeah. It's always annoying when I don't like the narrator's voice.
Sure.
But whatever.
That's fair.
Like it's like a 50-50 chance that I might not like the narrator's voice.
I like them when they narrate their own books.
Yeah,
those are the best. Too. Yeah,
like the Tegan and Sarah one. Yeah, that was so good.
High School's really good. I and also sometimes audiobooks like High School have like other
extra
like
stuff.
media, like songs and other
things.
I really love audiobooks because my eyes gloss over on everything. Like I have a really hard time visually focusing, but I have a really easy time with auditory focus.
Yeah.
And like it's it's just easier.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to our second episode of the pod. It's the same day as the previous episode, so we still don't have a name. We have ideas.
That's true.
What were our ideas again? Do you remember them? Like Make It Gay,
Goldfish
Memory, Goldfish Brain.
Wide-eyed gaze.
Wide-eyed gaze. There was another one in there too. I should have written them down, but
we did write them, but they're in our texts. Like we have to like Control F.
That seems like basically. So much work.
No, you just search in the whatever.
Okay.
Like if you, but I mean, none of them. I'm not.
We don't have
to tethered to any of them.
I know. Okay. Anyways, sorry to move us along. Again, I'm Gabby.
And I'm Maf.
Yeah. Sorry, I talked over you saying
no, it's all good. They know my name by now.
Yeah. And I think we're just gonna jump right in. I really wanted to talk about Love Island and reality TV and all of that juicy goodness because I have a lot of thoughts, and I don't want to don't get me wrong, I love reality TV. I eat that shit up, but I think it is so fucking toxic and so manipulative, and to me, I find it incredible how people are so easily swayed by what they see like given to them in like an hour episode of TV.
You also work in TV, so I feel like you have like a good perspective.
I think I have an insider perspective, which helps me watch reality TV because I can watch it with like a grain of salt, you know? Like I know how much work goes into constructing these narratives. And like, yeah. Anyway, so I'm just gonna dive right in. Also, I want to preface this by saying Love Island has now finished. I have not watched all of Love Island. I've watched like 45 out of the like 60 episodes, I think, which I think is enough, and I've kept up to date with like all the drama.
Lot.
I know.
Yeah.
They release like episodes every single day for 2 months.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. You like really get to know these people.
So 60 episodes is just one season?
Yeah. And they only do it once a year.
Oh, but that's like they've been doing it for a few years now, no?
This was season 8.
That's a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's like Big Brother, but...
Yeah. So I'm going to give like the premise of Love Island, I think, because I think it might be... I don't want to like just jump in. So basically how it starts is they put like 5 girls and 5 boys. It's all very hetero.
Yeah.
Most reality
actually I need this too because I literally don't know how it works. So this is good for me too.
Okay, so how it works is they put these like 5 women and 5 men into a villa together, and like on the first day they basically have to like the 5 girls will line up and then the men will walk in one by one, and they will step forward if they're interested in the man, and then the man can choose whichever girl he wants to couple up with, even if they didn't step forward for him. So if he like decides, oh, I want to couple up with this girl who didn't say she was attracted to me, but I think she's super hot, he can choose her. So now the way Love Island works, it's kind of insane.
And she can't say no?
No, she can't say no.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So, well, okay, here's the thing. So when they're coupling up in Love Island, that basically means they share a bed together and they're, like, getting to know each other. But
we all know what that means.
If the girl, like, in the beginning, like, okay, this season was a little different because the public paired up people.
Oh.
So, like, people voted on who they thought should start the season together.
Whoa.
Which to me was really interesting because people got, like, a say. And I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So anyways, all this is to mean is, like, people get paired up with people that they're going to share a bed with and, like, get to know. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the course of the 2 months, they send in bombshells. Mm-hmm. So, like, every few days, they'll send in, like, a really hot girl or, like, a really hot guy, and they're there to stir the pot up and, like, try and pull people away from other people. And then every few days there are recouplings. So that means, like, you can either stay with your current partner or you can choose to partner up with somebody else in the villa, because at the same time all these people are, like, talking and flirting and getting to know each other and all that stuff. And, like, the drama is crazy. And you get these new people who come in and they're like, oh, I'm here for myself. I'm not a girl's girl. I'm a lad's lad. But I'm here to stir shit up. I'm not here for alliances or to make friends. I'm here to find the love of my life. And if that means ruining other people's lives, I'm going to do that.
That was so good.
Thank you so much.
Actually so good. Wait. You have watched 45 episodes. Wow.
I have.
You really internalized that shit.
I know. You kind of become one of them.
But then what is the point of going in and being like, I'm here for myself? Like, what, do you win money? I don't know. What is the premise of this?
So the winner of Love Island is, like, a couple, and they'll win £50,000 each.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say 50 pounds.
Can you imagine you did all of that for, like, $100?
Some people would. They're crazy.
I know.
Okay.
No, so £50,000 is, like, the entire thing, but also these people get
Okay.
But these people get, like, yes, I don't know, whatever. These people get so, like, popular.
Right.
It's, like, bigger than Too Hot to Handle. Like, like, the winner of this season has, like, 2.5 million followers now. Like, her career is set. Yeah. You know, and, like, the 5th place girl has, like, 1.1 million. So it's not, like, Too Hot to Handle or, like, anything where, like, you get, like, maybe 2 million after, like, a few years. Like, these people are walking out of the villa with 2.5 million followers in their hands. Like, that's insane. Anyways, yeah, so they're, like, sending people in constantly. And then there's this bit in the middle of Love Island called Casa Amor, which basically what they do is they take whoever is in the villa, they send the girls away to a different villa, and they keep the boys in the original one. And then they send in, like, 6 new boys to interact with the 6 girls to try and tempt them. And they send in 6 new girls into the original villa to tempt the old boys. Okay. Also, people get sent out of the villa. So, like, if there's a recoupling and you're not chosen, if there's, like, an uneven number, you're kicked out. And you can also, the public can also kick people out. Like, they can vote on who they like, and if they don't like you, like, you're at risk. So a lot of people get booted out, and then you, like, get a reshuffling, but a lot of the original people stay. There's just, like, a few that go away, but most of the original stay. A couple new bombshells stay too, but generally, like, the later it gets into the season, like, the closer it gets to 2 months in, the less likely as a bombshell you are to stay, because these people have, like, built stronger relationships. But then you get to Casa Amor and shit hits the fucking fan, because you get, like, the girls who are being, like, pretty respectful in how they're, like, talking to these guys. Like, they're like, yeah, we're dating, like, we're not gonna shut down these conversations necessarily. Some of them do, but some of them are like, yeah, I'll, like, talk to this person to see if I have a better connection with them. So they'll do that. The girls are generally pretty respectful, and then you get the boys. And I swear to God, these are the most sexist fucking pigs you've ever met. Like, they're telling their girls, like their original girls, that they're coupled up with, that they're like, oh, I'm all for you, babe. I've never felt this way about anybody, and they're like crying and like being like vulnerable and shit, and then they're like, well, I just have to test the waters, like I have to test the connection that I have with Paige and see if that's like really legit. And so they go make out with like 4 different girls, as if they haven't just been solely seeing this one girl for like 4 weeks. And mind you, like everything in Love Island is fucking crazy, like it happens so fucking fast, but like A, they're on TV, B, they are seeing each other every single day. Like, they're sleeping together, they're like talking to each other every day, so they're basically like in these committed relationships like day 3. So you get these boys who are like, oh, we're not exclusive, I'm testing, but so they're basically cheating.
And that's the thing that like confuses me about Love Island. It's like the whole premise is like you're supposed to, like, not you're supposed to, but everybody tries to find like a better match, right? Which means like essentially you're all seeing each other, but then also you're like coupled up, so it's like,
but the couples aren't official,
right?
That's the thing.
But then
it's like, how become official. But but the thing is they can say to each other like, we are exclusive, or we are, so like it got to a point within the season where a couple of the couples were like, will you be my boyfriend, will you be my girlfriend? Okay, so they do get
like, what is the expectation, because you're supposed to like see other people and also be partnered or like not or whatever.
So that's the thing with Casa Amor. So they send these people in, and then you can go in, and you can choose to stay with your current couple, like the one that you had before Casa Amor, or recouple, and that causes shit, right? Like, because people will recouple and then other people will not recouple, and then they'll come back and they'll be like, shit, well, what the fuck, like I thought we had this thing and now you're back with some other dude, or like you're back with like you're sitting with some other chick, and it's just fucking wild. So that's the premise of Love Island. That was really long-winded.
No, that was good. I needed that. I didn't know anything about it.
So now I'm gonna like break down the characters and the people within this season, because I think the women in this season of Love Island were treated so horribly by the other by the Love Island men, and also just people in general. And I think people are so hypocritical and quick to judge and so easily manipulated by the TV producers and gods. Like, it's so fucking transparent to me, and I just don't understand how people are so, like, they get so invested into these people's lives, and it literally, like, does, like, why do you care that much? And it bothers me just how people treat these people like they aren't human beings. So there's this one girl, her name is Tasha. She is the first contestant on Love Island to ever be deaf. And she got so much hate. Like, so much hate. Not because she's deaf, but just because she's, like, a pretty girl and she was, like, seeing other people. And my issue was that the boys were also doing that. So, okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Tasha and Andrew are paired up. They were paired up from day one, and they, like, were, like, going through this whole journey basically together. But Tasha always communicated to Andrew, like, I'm gonna go talk to this new boy who walked in. Is that okay with you? And he'd be like, yeah, for sure. Like, go do whatever you want, girl. And, you know, and then he would go run to his boys and be like, Tasha is talking to another boy again. Like, fuck. God. And they'd be like, oh, fuck Tasha. And that's what, like, the internet was doing, too. They were like, I fucking hate Tasha. She's such, like, a bitch. She's two-faced. She'll say to Andrew that, like, she really likes him, and then she'll go talk to Charlie. And I'm like, yeah, she's on a dating show and you're getting mad at her for dating. Like, I'm sorry she's talking to these people, but she's clearly communicated. And to me, that was what was crazy, was people were getting so mad at her when she was communicating her boundaries. And then people were, like, demonizing her for crying a lot or, like, breaking down. But she has these boys bullying her in the fucking villa. And, like, people on the internet are voting her as like the least favorite person.
That's fucked.
And she's just like so, and people are like, she's just so emotional, and I'm like, fuck, she's in this villa, she's the only deaf person here, she has to lip read, she's probably overwhelmed as fuck, she's just doing what every other guy and every other girl in this villa is doing, but for some reason is getting absolutely shitted on for it. And to me, I was just like, mind fucking boggling.
Do you think it's like because she was like the hottest and like
She
they
was
were really
definitely,
trying
one
to
of the
like
hottest ones, yeah.
and people were trying to like be mad at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that was part of it, and her dad literally like released a statement being like, Tasha like is deaf. Like that makes her experience of Love Island so different from everybody else's, because she's constantly like having to navigate all these conversations, and like she has a cochlear implant, but that like gives her like 50% of a conversation, you know, or something like that. And I don't know, what was crazy to me was how the internet turned in like 2 seconds, because I wanted to talk about the Tasha hate before the internet shifted to Tasha love.
So they love her now?
They love her now.
Why?
Because she like dedicated herself to Andrew, basically. Or like, I don't even know. Like, to be honest, I thought they were cute from the get-go. Sure. And sure, she was exploring her options. Like, why is that an issue? 2 of the 3 dates that people blame her for, or like get mad at her for, she was forced to go on because the bombshells that walked in chose her to go on these dates with them. She didn't have a choice. Like, you can't say no.
Okay, so that's fucked up.
Well, I know. And so I'm like, why are people mad? And then she was flirting with them. Like, okay, big deal. She was flirting with them. She's not in a relationship with Andrew yet.
It's the name of the game.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's like, fucking called Love Island.
Literally.
Like, she's allowed.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I'm sure people would have given her shit as well if she went on these dates and she was standoffish.
Yeah. So what also changed is in Casa Amor.
Yeah.
Andrew was a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And he went off and, like, sucked this other girl's, like, boobs and, like, was, like, talking so much shit. And when Tasha came back and she heard about this, she like very much stood her ground. And I think people were like, oh, you know, like she can like defend herself and fight for herself. And then she and Andrew like worked their relationship back up or whatever, but like the producers were clearly manipulating like what people were seeing. They were like clearly portraying her in a bad light. She was the TV villain until the internet was like, oh, you know what? Actually, these guys in this villa that are, like, telling Tasha she's shit for, like, treating Andrew's like, garbage, are, like, actually probably not that great, you know, and, like, kind of bullies. Like, when people started turning on them and it, like, got ahead of what the game plan was for, like, the creators of Love Island, they were like, oh, shit, we need to, like, paint Tasha in a better light. So they started doing that, and people started to love Tasha. Okay. That's Tasha.
Okay.
Now let's talk about Paige.
Okay.
Because Paige had, like, the opposite journey in that people loved Paige for, like, the first 5 weeks. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. Because, like, they turned on her so fast, and I hadn't gotten to the point where they, like, turned on her. I stopped watching, like, before that because I hadn't caught up and it just finished. But now people, like, don't like her. They're like, she gives me like mean girl vibes from like high school.
It just feels all like it's so arbitrary, like what is the like or dislike of these people. Like it changes on a dime.
Yeah.
You know, which I guess is the point, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so contrived and it's so intentional. And okay, so what happened with Paige is she was with Jax. Jax in Casa Amor was the absolute worst out of all of the boys. He was like, I need to test this connection that I have with Paige, so I'm going to make out with all of these girls as if we haven't been, like, seriously talking, and I haven't, like, told her, like, my deepest, darkest secrets, and she hasn't, like, you know, like, they were basically dating at that point, and it was just rude. Like, you can talk to new people, you can have conversations, you don't need to suck face for, like, hours, you know? So, but when he came back, he chose to stay coupled up with Paige, and Paige chose to stay coupled up with Jax, and then the girl that he was sucking face with in Casa Amor was like, oh no, Jax and I had a thing, and Paige was like, what the fuck? So people were still on Paige's side for that, but then Adam comes in.
He's a bombshell.
And Paige is like talking to Adam because she's pretty pissed at Jax. She's not really forgiving him, which good for fucking her. She gets to a point where she kind of forgives him, but at this point he's like so down, he decides to leave the show because he's like, I'm just not mentally in the place where I need to be, and I'm not, like, I need to leave. This is not a good environment for me. So he leaves. And after that,
like intense environment.
Yeah, but he was also such a shithead, and I'm like, I mean,
right.
I guess like I'm being hypocritical because I'm like, the people judge these women so harshly, and I'm like, these men are assholes. But also,
I mean,
like,
if the shoe fits, like.
Like, the thing is like, people are turning on the women for like reasons that don't make sense to me, and like the men are just garbage. Like, they're just plainly like making out with these girls and expecting everything to be fine. So Adam comes in, Jax leaves, Adam and Paige start hitting it off, they like get close, they start dating, you know. Now people hate Paige. And Jax on the outside, he's like on his social media again, because all of this happens live.
Like, I don't know, they have their phones?
They have their, not in the villa, but they have them outside. So Jax now is like cultivating his audience. He's like working, he's like talking about the show while it's still happening. So you have people like turning on Paige while she's in there unaware, talking to Adam, and I don't know, it's just fucking crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I mean, I've heard she was like flirting with this other boy, and like, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't really know. I can't comment on it. But to me, it's just so crazy how people will turn on this, like, on like a woman so quickly. And now people are all for Jax. Like, they love him. They're like, I feel so bad for Jax. Like, he deserves better. Like, Paige is now on the outside with Adam, and like, he just has to see them, and I feel so bad for him. And I'm like, he dug his own grave. He got that shovel out of the shed and was like digging it. You know? And people like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. And people hate her. And I'm like,
so does Gus. Gus does too.
Gus hates Paige. No, Gus supports Paige.
No,
yeah. It's just Gus is a feminist.
That was a snarl for
for Jax.
Yes.
For Jax.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of layers.
I know.
Whoa.
So that's like my Love Island spiel, and I think like it just goes into reality TV in general on how like they can literally edit the show. Like, they have 24 hours a day of footage, and they edit that down into 55-minute episodes. Obviously, they're creating conversations. They are like there's a reason why on shows like Love is Blind and Love Island, they have cups with like not clear cups, so you can like, you can't tell when the time. They're like rearranging conversations. I once, like, as a project in university, like as an assignment, I had to recut an episode of a reality TV show, and we basically could do whatever the fuck we wanted, and I literally created a plot out of nothing. And like, the producers are like, okay, now start yelling at this person, you know? And like, who's to say that doesn't happen in the show? Like, obviously, like, who's to say they're not going into these interviews, like in the little beach huts where they do their one-on-one, like, I thought that was Thunder. Like, informational interviews or whatever those are called. I don't know. And they're like telling them what to say. You know, like, they're probably creating drama. They're like basing the show on how viewers are reacting, and it's just so
it's kind of like puppeteering, like what you would do with characters on a fiction show, but it's just kind of like reality has this like flair of this person also exists outside of the show. But I always think like they're like, you're kind of still playing like a caricature of yourself outside of the show too, like on social media, right?
They
like,
definitely are. I feel like you have to remain to maintain some kind of sanity.
But the hard part is when the producers have so much say in what that character ends up being, and now you also have the pressure of like acting that out to give the semblance of like authenticity. Even if it's not authentic to you, it has to stay like authentic to the plot line, because the plot line is all viewers know. Like, they don't know you outside of that context. So
Yeah, that's so true. And I feel like sometimes people do come out of the villa and they're like, or like even Too Hot to Handle was the same thing. It's like kind of a similar show. And they like try and rectify like the damage. Or I mean, if they had a very favorable image, then I guess they'll try and keep that up. But like they'll like go on podcasts, or they will like put out statements being like, I was misportrayed, you know, like how they're like on Love is Blind, people are like trying to start a lawsuit against the show, and I'm like, that's great, but I also don't know how successful you're gonna be because of all the contracts you signed. Like, these reality TV producers have the ins and outs, and like they know what to do, how to make these contracts so that these people are bound and like they cannot be held liable for how they're portrayed.
Totally. Do you think that, like, I mean, I guess for a lot of them, they, at least going into it, they think, like, whatever happens, it's worth, like, the fame I get out of this. But I'm sure, like, there must be some people who regret it, too.
Probably.
Like,
yeah, especially, I don't know, I can't imagine a world where that would be something that I would want to do. And, like, I'm sure, obviously, there are people who, like, want to do that, and I guess, like, I don't know, I'm sure there are people who regret it, though.
I think it's really hard to be, like, to have strangers, thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of them, commenting on, like, who you are as a person, and the morality of, like, your choices.
Yeah. And it all happens, like, in a second.
Yeah. And
like, you don't get time to adjust.
Yeah. Even whatever you do could be, like, portrayed a different way. So you might think that you're doing something, like, with the right intentions and the right impact. But
yeah.
That's rough. I don't think I could do it. I joked when we were watching The Circle a bunch during lockdown. Like, I joked, I'd be so good at The Circle, but, like, I would never want to actually go on. I think it'd be, like, it'd be too intense.
Yeah. And I even think The Circle is one of the better ones in terms of, like, how, like, public reception or, like, I don't know. I feel like there's less of you interacting with other people, or, like, you get more of, like, the person behind the scenes. Yeah. And you can, like, literally play anybody that you want and make up a character. But even still.
What do you think? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what do you think of, like, Big Brother, where they put that camera on them, like, 24/7? And I actually, I'm going to be honest with you, I've not watched a single episode of Big Brother. Like, I don't really fully know what the premise is. I know that there's some, like, it's basically they're, like, stuck in a house with each other. They don't have any phones or access to the outside world. There's some competitions, like, actual games that they physically play. And then they get to vote each other off. But also part of Big Brother is, like, beyond the episodes, there's also, like, a 24/7 camera. It's a live stream. Yeah. Anyone can go and can watch it. And I remember when I was in high school, I had friends who were, like, so invested in Big Brother. They would keep the live stream up, like, as they were sitting for, like, exams or whatever. They would just have the live stream up because you would catch things that, like, you know, only you would have seen if you were on there at that point. And that's the whole point. It's like Big Brother's always watching you. Like, someone's always watching you. And I get it, but I'm also, like,
it's fucking terrifying.
24/7.
We've literally created zoo animals out of humans. Yeah. And, like, we put them on TV for our entertainment.
And they say yes, but, like, you don't know what that's like till you're in it. And then when you're in it, I feel like it actually changes you a little bit, even if not permanently, sure, whatever, but, like, while you're in there, it's psychologically, like, a mind fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's gotta be. Like, especially on all these reality TV shows where, like, they don't have cameramen and they've just got, like, these cameras set up. Right. Like, I feel like you forget, but you also don't. Yeah. And I don't know, it has to be a mind fuck. And I know, like, on season 2 of Love is Blind, Danielle and what's his name? Nick? I don't know, her husband. Yeah, like, Nick. They've come out saying they regret going on the show.
Oh, yeah. The way that they were portrayed was also, like, really intense.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I think anybody would be upset about that portrayal. And I think, like, the thing with Love is Blind is they seem so, like, regular, most of these people. Like, they're not, like, intensely, like, incredibly hot people.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what's funny, too, is, like, we always have reality TV shows around, like, relationships, which, I mean, I'm not surprised because, like, even outside of reality TV, like, media in general, right? Like, music, shows, TV, like, movies, books, like, all these things are, like, some of the most popular iterations of them are focused around romantic love, sex, relationships, whatever. But, like, I don't know. I'm like, why? Like, I get it. I'm also invested, but
I think because there's just so much, like, drama there. Yeah. You get so much conflict, like...
But that's the thing. Like, what does that say about us and, like, you know, the fact that we're all so used to just romantic relationships being just, like, shitstorms.
You're right. And, like, the thing is I have all these criticisms, and yet I know I'm still gonna watch, like, the next season of Love Island. I'm still gonna watch every fucking reality TV show that comes out, because they're just so, like, entertaining. But you're right. Like, we do, like, have a certain expectation of, like, oh, these are gonna be, like, absolute drama-filled, like, all these romantic relationships are gonna be, like, shit, like, hits the fan, you know?
And honestly, what you just said also about, like, you're gonna keep watching, I feel like I'm very like, even with, like, whatever, The Circle, when we watched those gajillion seasons of it, even though after a while we were like, this isn't even, like, that good anymore, because it's, like, it gets repetitive, but I was like, I'm still gonna watch the next one. But for the first time ever, the one reality TV thing I watched where I was like, I've had enough of this, was the Kardashians. Because, well, for them specifically, it's like, I think I was doing this double think of, like, being like, I hate their egregious wealth. I think this is so slimy. I hate everything they talk about. Like, this is all about nothing. There are real problems in the world, like, whatever. But I would still, like, watch some of it to be like, oh my god, what are they going to do about this? Like, what is this person going to say about that? And then I think I got, like, 5 episodes deep, and I was like, I really can't anymore. It was, actually, I'll tell you what was my last straw. It was this episode where Kylie and Chris go to Trader Joe's, and they're talking about how it's, like, so cute that they're doing, like, a normal thing. They're going grocery shopping together.
Oh my god.
And that actually gave me nausea, that I was like, I cannot watch this anymore. And that was the thing that did it for me, that turned it off. But I guess with, like, also reality shows in this context, it's like normal people, right? And they're like, you get to see how it plays out, so you feel a kind of, like, you're like, that could have been my friend, that could have been me, that could have whatever.
That's the thing, because, like,
in a way that keeps it going.
They're normal people, and then they're not, you know? And I think, like, it makes it feel accessible.
And it also, because of the way it's set up, makes you feel like you as an audience member have a say, and that the whole premise is that you get to, like, comment. Like, that's how it's set up. Everyone who goes in knows that, like, you're an active participant almost of, like, how it's gonna roll out. But I can't do these fucking, like, Kardashians anymore. Like, I can't do anything, like, along the lines of that anymore for reality TV. I can only do these, like, game show type, because it is it's virtually a game show, right? It
is. It's like Squid Games.
Oh, I didn't watch Squid Games either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. I
mean, it's not like Squid Games, because Squid Games is like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've heard.
Very good. But.
I mean, even with Squid Games, it's like, it's social commentary. In the form of, like, reality
It's
TV.
like commenting on the reality TV. I wonder if I had any more points.
I mean, if, like, while you look for your points, something that I was also thinking about is, like, even just, reality TV is kind of the high production version of it, but we kind of have a lo-fi version of that, whatever, just through, like,
influencers and bloggers.
Is that not, you know, like, we comment, we determine how liked they are, we determine their scandals, we determine their like, income, all this shit.
Like, that's I would never want to be an influencer.
Me neither.
I say as we're, like, making this podcast. But,
but we're, like, not. I'm not trying to be an influencer. Like, just to make it clear to every single person.
Like, please do not follow me on Instagram, actually.
I'm still going to be private. Like, good luck. Like, it's not...
We'll be declining your follows.
I'm just not looking to, like, actually, beyond, like, what I opt into, have my life be commented on or
exactly
more than
like
what I'm...
these people are monetizing their lives, and we talked a little bit about this in New York, but it scares me, like, the longevity for these people, but also just how we've, like, created a consumerism lifestyle related. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I feel like you're in the nebula bubble of it. Yeah. I mean, like, even, okay, literally using this as an example, this is me being too lazy to write an essay or even film a video essay. So I'm just doing it in conversation with you.
Yeah.
But there are, like, hard limits, and I feel like the influence, like, I know an influencer, like, people know influencers who are, like, it is strictly their job. It doesn't mean that it doesn't trickle into their lives. How could it not? You are part of your brand. Yeah. But they've made their brand into a business that is also a little bit separate from them. Yeah. Like, it's not just based on their identity. It's also, like, their skills, their hobbies, what they have to, like, offer you in terms of, like, knowledge, creativity, community. That's not just tethered to, like, who they are and everything they do.
Yeah.
And their vlogs are, like, strictly story times, or their videos are all, like, come and see my life. Yeah. Like, if all your content is just about you, your life, you as a person, what you like, your friends, your family, whatever, then, like, how could you can't separate those things anymore. And then your, like, livelihood is dependent on, like, how entertaining you are as a person and how entertaining your life is, not a product you create, not a service you offer.
Yeah.
That gets really fucked, like, really fast.
And I think, like, it's also an issue with audiences because people don't see that distinction or that separation between, like, people, like, these individuals, who they really are versus who they are and who their brand is. And people, like, conflate the two and assume that this brand, this person's brand is who they are. So then they get, like, invested and attached to these people, and they get mad when people stray from that and when they make different content. And it's just, it goes back to reality TV with, like, me being, like, mind boggled how people can't see through that, and why do people get so attached to these people they don't know. I can understand, like, loving someone and loving to watch their videos and liking what they post, but you can't really get mad at someone for growing up and growing out of it, or, you know, I don't know.
It's also, like, with, I don't know if you've seen recently, it's like the TikTok lesbian breakups that everyone is so emotional over,
and people are like, I don't believe in love anymore, and I'm like, fuck off. Like, you do.
It's, you know what, the same thing also happened, I don't know if you were around for this, but there was this, like, 2016 lesbian YouTuber breakup. It was, like, just the big names. It was, like, Shannon and Kimmy, exactly, Allie and Stevie, like, it was whatever. And I remember at that point, like, everyone kind of being the same, like, love is dead, like, sobbing, crying, whatever. And honestly, I remember even I got emotional watching one of those videos, being like, oh, no, like, all this stuff, whatever. But it's like, it's one thing when we were in an age when that was, like, kind of, like, the first representation we had of people's authentic lives, and, like, as it relates to queerness and your identity, whatever. It's another thing to be in 2022, gay shit everywhere you turn, left, right, and center. Lesbian couples everywhere. Like, I'm not saying that you can't find representation in these specific couples, but I'm just saying that, like, it's not even as rare as it used to be. So, like, relinquish the, you know.
Yeah. I also find, like, people who monetize their relationships, like, I feel like that is dangerous territory. And that you're inviting, like, so many people into your relationship, and to have opinions, and to have like, I don't know, like, the same with Chris and Ian, who, like, when they broke up and everybody was devastated, and I feel like that must make everything so much harder. And that would have made their relationship harder too, because now you're not only balancing your emotions and your feelings in relation to this person that you're with, but you're also balancing the relation, like, how other millions of people feel about your relationship. Like, nobody should have to deal with that kind of,
dude, it's just
influence. Is it the word I'm looking for?
Or, like,
impact.
It's just very, or, like, effect. It's just very, I don't know. I haven't lived through it, whatever. Like, I don't judge people who think that this is, like, a good decision for them or they want to, like, capitalize on it.
Yeah.
But I do think that we do see patterns of, like, when your business is tied to your relationship, and I mean this even literally, I will say this outside of influencer culture as well, don't do business with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. But then also, don't do business with your partner and add cameras to it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like these things are very high stakes in a way that, like, you're not just, you know, it's not just about, like, the relationship anymore, your care for each other, your interest in each other, your love for each other. It becomes, like, how consumable is what you show to people. Like, how, or like you might have like money riding on this, right? That'll cause one of the lead causes of divorce. I know this, my parents are divorced, I know this shit inside about. One of the lead causes of divorce across every nation, statistically, whatever, is money. Like, conversations around money, financial like decisions together. And we are lying to ourselves if we pretend like money is not part of this conversation. It's not one of the stressors. I'm sure for some people it's maybe not a factor, but I have a really hard time imagining it's, like, never a fact, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, like, to your point of, like, don't go into business with your partner at all. I think my parents are, like, just, like, a different...
Like, yeah.
But I would only say this because I think you need, like, years of a basis of a relationship where you, like, have communicated, you've established boundaries, you've, like, you know where you stand money-wise, and you can, like, start to think about that.
Yeah. Also, they've been married a gajillion years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like, at that point, you can consider it.
Yeah.
Before that point, it's a no from me.
And it was also, like, a thing that they could go into because they were trying it out. It wasn't like they were, like, giving up everything they've ever done ever, and, like, everything was riding on this.
And the thing with these cameras, too, is people start posting this so innocently. Or, like, oh, I'm just going to post, like, cute videos of my partner, but then they start to blow up and they're like, oh, this is fun. And instead of just, like, pumping the brakes and being like, maybe not, they continue to feed into it, and they continue to snowball, and then they make a business out of their relationship, and then it's just, like, your relationship can't be a business. Your relationship is your relationship, and it should be for you and your partner to enjoy and, like, love. And if you want to do something together at a certain point, and you feel like you're at a point where you can do that, to me, like, that isn't an issue. It's when you've, like, monetized your relationship. I can't imagine how, like, difficult that would be.
Also, like, family vloggers and, like, people with their kids and whatever.
Oh my
like,
god, I take so much issue with that.
That's gonna, like, do so. And you know what? Like, I am sure that people can argue many different sides of this. Fine, but we are actually not giving enough attention to this, in the sense that, like, there are very popular family vloggers, like, people who vlog their kids, people who whatever, like, will vlog their relationships, record all these things, that, like, there's so many of them, they're so rampant, common, popularized, that it's like we actually need to make a little bit more room for the criticism of them and for the, like, critical analysis of them. I don't think anyone is, like, morally inherently corrupt for any of this. Like, I don't, honestly, also, especially with, like, a really precarious economy, I understand wanting to, like, make as much income, capitalize on these opportunities when you can, but I'm just saying that, like, I think it's time to also, and it's been time, to a little bit, you know, engage in some critical analysis of, like, where is the line between when this becomes harmful to you and your relationships and your communities and your families, and where is it, like, how can you cash in, sure, or, like, make use of this opportunity, but then also know maybe when to, like, walk away from it, or, like, how to have your different boundaries around it, because people will go and go and go and go, want more and more and more and more, and now you've, like, ended up in this place that you're like, I don't even know how I got here. You know?
To be honest, I think children should just not exist on the internet. Like, I don't think that is safe. We don't know what's going to happen to these kids who grew up as like these family vloggers children. I bet they're going to be all sorts of fucked up. Like, we don't know what's in store for them. And also, I saw, like, this TikTok the other day, me with, like, referencing TikTok for every single point that I make.
I mean, it's,
but it was, like, this mother who was like, I posted this TikTok of my daughter who was, like, 10 or something, and it did, like, decently well, and it got, like, I don't know, let's say 2,000 likes, but then it had 10,000 saves.
That's fucked up.
And I'm like, yeah. And that was just, like, a video that, like, did, like, okay. Can you imagine now with these family vloggers who have, like, all, like, who have an abundance of success, where these images and videos of their children are going is terrifying to me.
Yeah, and I think part of it is also, like, whatever, you, like, post a picture of your baby or, like, a cute video or whatever, like, it's not that you can't ever share your relationship or your family or whatever, but it's when it's this constant churning out of content, when it's this constant, like, media in that, and you're also monetizing off of it, that things get really blurry really quick in terms of, like, you know.
Well, people are monetizing off of their children. And to me, I'm like, are you allocating that money for your children? No, you're probably keeping that for yourself.
And even if you're allocating it for your children, even then, you have got to draw lines around, like, how often you do this. Who is seeing this? Like, you don't know.
Do you know Danny Cimarelli? Like, do you know this?
I know the Cimarellis. Yeah.
Okay, so she quit Cimarelli.
Oh wait, I know her.
Yeah.
She's really popular on TikTok right now.
Yeah, she is. She's been but I've been following her on, like, YouTube for, like, a couple of years now, and I think she just always has really good, like, takes on things. She basically has talked about, like, growing up on the internet and how that has messed her up a lot, and how it was not a great experience, how like, even though she had, like, a ton of money from a kid, she, like, didn't know how to save it and, like, spent it all. And I don't know, I think her videos are all really good, and I think she has a very interesting story, but she's, like, one of those kids who grew up literally, like, from, like, 10 on the internet, and how that was a scary place to be. And I feel like as a parent, her parents could have done a better, not to comment on her parents, obviously.
No, but like, this is also the thing, like, we are just starting now to hear about the adult accounts of these kids, because, like, when did YouTube, whatever, like, really blew up in maybe what, like, 2009, like, started, like, lifting off, and then so only in the last decade, right, are these, like, kids just growing up now, and they're only in their, maybe what, early 20s, like, late 20s, like, these people are just for the first time telling us about what their experiences were, and at the same time that, like, slowly but surely it's coming out of the woodwork, like, we're getting an exponential, like, increase in this content just because we haven't yet put enough of a critical lens on it. I don't know. And people say this all the time about what, like, cancel culture. It doesn't actually, like, people still have entire empires. They're not actually canceled. They have money. They have connections. They, like, you know, just because you decide you hate them one day and they, like, they fall off the face of the earth doesn't mean that, like,
they're gone.
Doesn't mean they're gone. Doesn't mean that they're even changed, right? And so, like, we're kind of waking up to some of these things, that it's like the internet isn't real, but at the same time we can't dismiss, like, the impacts. It's like real life impacts. I think of fucking, do you remember TanaCon? Oh my god. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was a real thing that happened as a result of, I'm kind of sure, Tana herself, or, like, sometimes influencers themselves, like, not being able to see their real world impact because it's so disconnected. I don't blame them. Like, how could you? Literally, you know, Brittany Broski was making a video about how a bunch of people showed up to the Rosalia concert because she was there, and, like, saying hi to her, and, like, recognizing that, like, she has the impact of, like, saying that, like, I'm going to a concert, and people being there for her. Like, not even for Rosalia, or, like, maybe for Rosalia too, but, like, also to see her. And it's like, how would you know that? You do forget that, like, people, like, millions of people are seeing this video. It's designed for you to forget that millions of people are seeing this video. You're not supposed to remember.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel exactly what we say, like parasocial. And so when you kind of like break this fourth wall,
Yeah.
it's really, I think, a wake-up call for a lot of people, like TanaCon being like a literal thing that people showed up to at a convention center that was booked.
Yeah.
And not just like this like imaginary little fantasy where everything works out because that's the only thing you ever see. You never see the behind the scenes, you never see the planning, you just see it one day, it appears, it's there. And then as an influencer you think it'll just sort itself out. I have the people for it, but like, no, dude. That shit isn't the real world. You are in your box and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that, or somebody has to remind you that, because the app is not going to remind you that. The app's job is to make you forget that.
Yeah.
Fuck, sorry. Just really went on a whole.
Drop the mic. Yeah. Wow.
I just, like, we're not even, you know what I mean? Like, we're not even anybody, and the internet has had such an impact on me already in the way that I've grown up and seen myself and interacted with other people that I cannot imagine what it'd be like.
And, like, imagine, okay, so we had Instagram in... 2012? So we were
beginning high school,
I was like in grade 10, I think, when I got Instagram.
Me too.
And already, like, I feel like that has completely, like, impacted the way I see myself, the way I see other people. I can't imagine growing up with that, like, as a kid, and, like, knowing, like, all your friends are on Instagram or, like, Visco or TikTok. I think having TikTok as a teen would be awful.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of also parallels between Tumblr and TikTok, but I actually think that Tumblr, because it followed such a written format and it was content creation in ways that actually very rarely were video format, it had a little bit of a different vibe to it. I mean, mind you, Tumblr has done its own damage. We all know. I'm not saying it was better by any means. It did its own fucking damage. I'm just saying this, like, video content piece means that we are moving very not discreetly into this world of, like, aesthetics in a way that, like, Tumblr was also aesthetics, but we knew it's like collage aesthetics. You set up your camera, you take a very specific aesthetic photo. It's about the outfit. It's kind of about, like, the vibe. It's about how you edit it. But
how
TikTok
it looks on your blog.
Personality,
Yeah, TikTok is personality.
I mean, I guess so was Tumblr. It's really hard. I feel like every single generation could do this and be like, back in my day, whatever. But, like, I'm not saying one's better or worse. I'm just saying this is the...
I don't know. On Tumblr, you can, like, market, like, funny little, like, sayings, you know? Like, you could just, like, post something funny or, like, make a cute picture and, like, it would do well. You didn't really have to commit much of you didn't have to say much about yourself. You didn't have to, like, expose much of who you are. You could be totally anonymous and be famous. Whereas now, on TikTok, you lose that anonymity. You lose any sense of, like, privacy. And you are marketing your personality.
And I hate saying this, don't play devil's advocate. Like, some would argue that, like, you could still have jokey things on TikTok and, like, you could still do that format. But then my counter argument to that as well is just that, like, but so many fewer people are doing that kind of content and so many more people, and the most popular people are the ones who create content based off of their lives and their personality. So it still ends up being kind of this, like, disproportionate focus on who you are, your brand. Yeah. Fuck.
All from reality TV.
All from reality
From
TV.
Love Island vibes.
Love Island. Do you want to, is there anything else that you want to say about Love Island?
Nope.
You're not done yet, right? You have 15 more episodes?
Yeah, I might watch them, might not. I already know who wins, so, I like who won. It was a bombshell who won, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with, like, the discourse about it? Just, like, what you see on TikTok?
Yeah. And, like, I follow all of them.
Oh, okay, nice.
Well, I don't follow all of them, but I follow some of them. I'll probably unfollow them once I finish the show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I get, like, Love Island TikToks quite frequently. And I also listen to, like, I follow this one YouTuber, Maddie Drosbeck. Love her. And she also does, like, a podcast where she comments on Love Island at the end of every episode. Nice. So that's also how I was keeping up with, like, the new stuff.
A lot of my friends watch Love Island.
Yeah, it's good. It's addictive.
one other thing I was just gonna say real quick is I think last year unfollowed a lot of people off of Instagram, like a lot, like basically just kept like businesses I wanted to buy shit from and like my friends and like a few other people. I think since I've definitely followed some more like celebrities and influencers, whatever, but I've still tried to keep it like low and intentionally go through it once in a while, because I found that especially as we've moved more towards like this like aesthetic vibe and this like 5 to 9 routine or like day in the life of, it's like actually it had an impact on genuinely like my self-esteem and like my self-worth, and thinking about like, am I doing life the right way? Do I look cute enough, you know, thin enough, gay enough, whatever, like all these things that are like, I don't give a shit, but when it's in my face every day,
Yeah.
you start giving a shit just because that's how it's designed.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's supposed to be in your face every day, that like you have to keep thinking about it, and now you're like, should I?
Yeah.
Am I? Do I? But it's like these things that I otherwise don't question, don't care about, feel good about, but when it's like literally in your face all the time, and like specifically, what I know, there's literally no point saying names, but like a very like popular influencer, very like hot, sexy, cutesy, like has every perfect aesthetic ever, like beautiful home. I mean, this is literally all of them, right? Like beautiful home, great partner, great life, like all this shit that you like look at it and you're like, every outfit you wear is a new outfit, and it's beautiful and it's expensive, and every time you're in any video or photo, even when you're like messy or like chilling at home or lounging or whatever, you still look like impeccable. And like I don't, so should I? Like how do I?
Yeah.
It's almost like you start viewing yourself constantly from this like consumerist perspective of like, if I'm gonna put on my cute pajamas and I'm gonna make my hair look cute and I'm gonna wear makeup even though nobody's home. Sometimes you can do all those things because it feels good for you.
Yeah.
But I think I was approaching a stage where I was like, am I doing this for me?
Yeah.
Or do I just have this like camera on me at all times in my head?
I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wiped all of them off my feed. I was like, I can't look at you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did that. I don't even like scroll on Instagram. Like I go through people's stories like of my friends, but then I'm kind of done. I don't go through like posts anymore.
Instagram is kind of dead too, huh?
It is kind of dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was even thinking about like TikTok recently. I'm like, this is really bad for me. Like,
yeah, me too.
I'm on this app way too much.
Me too. Should we go on I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna be like, should we go on a Klansman and be like, I'm just gonna lie to you. Be like, Gabi, I didn't go on today. Fully like as I'm scrolling. You know. Yeah, and I'm not lying to you right now is the me, like, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now that I will lie to you if I tell you I'm going off of it. Unless I feel like the only way I go off of apps is when I actually go off of it and then I don't talk about it. Does that make sense? When I'm talking about it, it means I'm still on that app. Like, I'm still...
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted because I was like, I'm so warm right now.
It's because the AC's off. Yeah.
I remember the AC's off.
Oh, song of the week. Yes. Okay, so my song of the week is not a new song that I've like recently been listening to. It's another song that I've been loving alongside the Maggie Rogers album, which I just talked about in our last episode, but I can't talk about that again.
We're in our horse girl era.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah. And the song is like a song that I grew up kind of listening to because my mom loved it. And like I know it and we used to like play it all the time, but I didn't really appreciate it back then, and I was like listening to a lot of Brazilian music because my mom's Brazilian. And this like came back up on shuffle and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. The song is called Maria de Verdade by Marisa Monte, and it's so good. So good. I'm going to add it to the Slaylist playlist.
Add it to Slaylist playlist.
Yeah.
Is that the song you played in
No,
New
that's
York?
a different one.
Yeah.
But that one also was like a childhood one that was really good.
That one's good. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Mine is, I think it's called Persuasion. That new song that SZA's featured on.
I was literally listening to that today.
That one's
it's
good.
so good.
That one's good. That one's very vibey. I forget who the...
hold on, I'll
yeah,
look it
yeah,
up for
thank you. That one's a good one.
It's, Dochi?
Yeah, Dochi, I think.
With 3 eyes.
Yeah, Dochi,
And
persuasive with SZA.
So good.
She's so persuasive. That marijuana.
That.
She's so flirtatious. Literally. I was like, you said it all. There's nothing else for me to say. It's just very fun, fresh, flirty, like summer.
Yeah.
I love, like, we're, you know, we got the deluxe album from SZA, but like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for more still. Like, I would love more from her, and I would love anything and everything that she sends my way. So when I saw this, I was like, no fucking way. And then it was just as incredible as everything she does. But yeah, love this one.
Yeah.
Very summer, very poppy
good.
for the girls. OVO Fest was this weekend.
What is that?
It's like Drake's thing.
Oh.
Yeah. I love me some Champagne Poppy. I know, guys. It's like my one chronically like Toronto man thing. I just love him. Like him, whatever. But like just ever since CLB, like Certified Lover Boy, I
Yeah.
have a newfound appreciation for Drake in a way that I didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
But CLB is truly a lyrical masterpiece. The rest of them are like, they're good, they're fine, there's some gems on every album. But CLB as a whole, legacy album.
Right.
Like Pink Print Nicki legacy album levels. Not damn Kendrick levels, but almost. Like almost. Sorry, that was my little...
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I love SZA. Do you remember that Vine? Do you remember that Vine? It was like, is that how you say SZA? I miss Vine. Vine was a
so good.
pure beam of light
I know.
on the internet. Speaking of internet things, like,
Fine.
go Vine.
Yeah.
Because in 6 seconds, you're not sharing like, you are sharing your personality, but you just be funny. You just have a joke.
I know.
Vine, it was push, shove, kill,
Yeah.
survival of the fittest. You had to be fucking funny to be on Vine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Road
I
work
agree.
ahead. I
Sure
sure hope it does. Like, I'm still quoting. Like,
Free Shavaka.
that was the one in my brain. You literally heard it in my brain. Free Shavakadu. What was the other one? The one that was like, that
Stop!
like,
I could have dropped my croissant.
that was good too.
Why did I make that
Oh,
face, though?
did you see that one? It's like Beyonce. She's like, bring the beat in, and then someone brings a beat on a plate into the. Or that other one, that one where that couple is like making out.
Oh my
and
God,
it's like,
yes.
you can't do this here or something like that.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Or, what up? I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
That was good. That one's good.
I quote that one regularly.
Because it's...
Like, what up? I'm Gabby, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
Yeah. Jared represented all of us before we even were 19. He knew.
And after.
It would resonate. And after. Well after.
Well after, yeah.
Somebody bring back Vine. Or let's all just start making 6-second TikTok videos in the style of Vine
Yeah.
and never acknowledging it and
Yeah.
just shifting the culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's your challenge for this week. All viewers, just make Vine style TikToks.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this episode. This was way longer than I thought this was going to be.
That's
Like
okay.
Earlier today, I was like, this Love Island episode's going to be a short one.
No, I knew.
It was not.
I knew. Let us know if you want more of Gabby's Love Island reflections. Personally, I'm okay with making it a segment, so we can make it a segment.
I mean, there's not going to be much content to work with now that the show is over.
Oh, you're not gonna watch the extra?
I will.
Okay,
So we've got like another episode of Love Island, but
we can do these intermittently.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
also watched other reality TV. I can always
Yeah,
pull out of the woodwork.
for sure. Yeah, we watched the 7 millionth season of The Circle. We're just like the same shit over. and
Yeah,
over.
we haven't seen the 4th season.
Why would we?
Yeah, you're
we know
right.
it. I can
You're
tell you
right.
exactly how it goes down right
I
now.
know.
I don't even know anybody on it. I don't even
Brew.
know. Brew is on it.
Anna's
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Honestly, it's safe to be on that show now because nobody watches it. Is that a
Yeah.
bad thing to say?
No, I think you're right.
It's a safe choice now. You should be on it. Actually, now is the time to be on it.
That's the one you want to be
That's
on.
the one you want to be on. That, you know what the best seasons are? the very, very first season of anything.
Yeah.
Or, like, after people stop watching. That's the best time. Second through, like, however many until it stops, and those are the worst ones, because that you have the most eyes on you, and it's the most intense. People are crazy about that shit. Like, they're too invested.
Yeah.
But the first one, they love you, and you're, like, always gonna have a place in their heart.
Yeah.
And then after a certain amount, they're like, whatever, do your thing. I don't care.
Well, we gotta wrap this up, because I have to pee.
Yeah. We're not influencers. Don't follow us on Instagram. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.